Good morning, sunshine. Howdy. Hello. How have you been? Good to see you again. Today, I hate to break it to you, but I just don't have time to do a tutorial. This week, I'm working extra shifts at my job, and also I'm putting together a drag performance video, and there's another video project that I'm working on with a friend that I've kind of had to put on hold, and I just have a lot to do. So I decided, so that I can still give you something, that I would do a top 10 of my favorite palettes in my collection video. So this may not be the most exciting thing in the world to you, or maybe it will be. I guess you're just gonna have to find out and keep on watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, the little bell, comment, all of those things. You know, I would greatly appreciate comments of any kind. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you don't want to see. I don't know, just say something. Anything. In no particular order, I have chosen 10 palettes. I am not going to tell you how many palettes I own because it makes me feel insecure. So, starting with my most expensive, so I guess this is in somewhat of an order. No, it's really not. This is just the one that's sitting on top of the stack. The Subversive palette from Pat McGrath Labs. First of all, I've already taken it out of the box, but the packaging is so luxurious. You get this cute little like string detail, you unfold it, and the shade names are all in here on their own little special card. And then you get the palette. You know, if you have seen Pat McGrath's stuff or if you own any of it, you know, these things are heavy and they just feel luxurious. This, I have all but 2 of the Mothership palettes. My roommate has the 2 that I don't have, so I've justified like not getting them because I could access them if I needed them. Need. What a strong word when it comes to makeup. But yeah, the color story in this one is really, really right up my alley. And you'll see as I show you all these palettes that I clearly have a color story that I like. The green in this one, it's called Gigabyte, is one of my favorite eyeshadows, period. And I have hundreds of different eyeshadows. But this one, every time I wear it, I just feel luxurious. You know, there's something about Pat McGrath's formula. They're so good. And it's honestly, anytime I've ever worn Pat McGrath eyeshadow, I always get the most compliments. So there's definitely something to be said about the formula. She is a goddess, a divine diva of makeup. All hail Dame Pat McGrath. And next up, from Melt Cosmetics, I have She's in Parties. When this first came out, in fact, this was my first purchase from Melt Cosmetics. I saw the advertisement for it and lost my mind. It is so good. It's a very moody purple palette. This is like goth dabbling in color. So you've got this just gorgeous array of shades, and it's versatile. Something that I look for in a palette, even though I have a lot of them and I have a lot of single eyeshadows as well. So I don't technically need this, but I appreciate when you can grab a palette and you can just do a full-fledged look with it. So I think it's important that a palette has a really nice, like, light, soft shade, as well as like a mid-tone shade and a deep shade. A combination of mattes and shimmers is always appreciated. She's in Parties is super gorgeous. Next up from Melt as well. This, I would almost say, could be like my favorite palette. No, I can't pick favorites, but I love it. I just love this one. It's so nice. It's kind of got a camo vibe, like a camouflage kind of vibe, but some of the shades in this are up there, like with the Gigabyte from Pat McGrath. This Shotgun, like, I used this palette in my very first tutorial, and I refer to this as Neon Pea Soup. It's just this really vibrant chartreuse, and it goes on just as vibrant as it looks in the pan. The yellow in here is really stunning. There's so many different looks that you can do. There's actually only one shimmer shade in this palette, but I'm not mad about that. BH Cosmetics Pistachio. First off, I gotta say, this brand, I had a very hard time picking like something to represent BH Cosmetics because I have a lot of their stuff and I really appreciate the quality. They don't always have the greatest packaging. Sometimes, like I think this is super cute. Sometimes the packaging feels kind of like low end. The graphic art can be kind of meh, but do not let that fool you or steer you away from trying it. BH Cosmetics, especially when it comes to shimmers, some of the best formulas. The mattes are super blendable and pigmented as well. I have never had a bad experience with BH Cosmetics. I love their eyeshadows. I love their blushes. I will say I have not tried any of the like foundation or concealer, so I can't speak to that, but this palette is mind-boggling to me. Obviously, I love green, so a little bias in that department, but I wish this was part of their permanent collection because it is not. This was a limited edition from their Sweet Shop collection, but some of these shades are just bonkers. Like, I can't swatch everything because I'll just have to keep washing my hands, but we're going in with the shimmers on this. You have to see. They're just insane. Insane! The Ace Beauté Oceanic palette is so good. Look how pretty she is. It's just an aquatic dream. Stunning, pigmented, great shimmer shades, perfect mattes. I also have a few palettes from Ace Beauté, and I love every last one of them. This one is close to home because it was inspired by the Zion National Park in Utah, where I grew up. And while I don't totally understand the color story for Zion, maybe they were there at like sunset or something. I think it's beautiful. I love this palette. You got a little bit of a desert vibe in some of these shades. But otherwise, you know, she's pinky, purpley, a little bit reddish, a little dusty. It's just a really good palette. Hip Dot was another brand where I was looking at all of my Hip Dot stuff and thinking, I love all of it. But this one, the color story, I think is just so cohesive and beautiful. I also picked the Nude Nouveau palette from them, just to kind of switch things up a bit. I have also their Glitter Deco. This is an all pressed glitter palette. Let me say, I don't love glitter the same way a lot of people do, mostly because I find the cleanup just kind of agonizing. I hate how invasive glitter is. I love how it looks, but it just really gets my OCD like turned on. So I don't wear it a ton, but I love this one. I think it's very unique. They are kind of more subdued tones, but it's like, how often do you see like earthy glitters? I love that there's like a chocolatey one. They're kind of just softer glitters. It's really beautiful, easy to pair with looks. The other one is much brighter, but I would say if I had to pick, this is my favorite one of the two. Definitely one of my favorite palettes. Their glitter formula does not really require a base. It's suspended in some sort of creaminess. Beauty Bay. They do these 20 shade palettes. Sometimes they're limited edition. Like this one was released around Christmas time, and it was part of like a holiday collection, but it's called Book of Magic. and there's this very witchy vibe. So I was like, was this supposed to come out for Halloween and it just didn't? Or were they being clever? Either way. And the new romantic was a Valentine's Day release. So, Book of Magic, really good. Some of the shades in this remind me of the shades from the Oceanic palette from Ace Beauté, but it's purple and blue instead of blue and green. But the pigment on these, lovely. So lovely. It's like the perfect smoky, bold palette, but with pops of vibrancy. Super versatile. New romantic. You've got your reddish, pinky, rustic kind of color story. With a kind of random, like, olive metallic thrown in for fun. Lastly, I've been rambling, kiddos. All right. This one I also used in my very first video, and it is a palette that when I first saw it online, I was literally like, this is weird. I don't know if I like the color story. I knew I was going to buy it because I'm a sucker for a collaboration with someone that I love. And it is by one of my favorite people ever, Kimchi Chic Beauty, and Naomi Smalls did this 2 Queens, 1 Desert collection, and this palette is called Mad Maxine Soot Yourself. So the collection is very wordy. 2 Queens, 1 Desert, Mad Maxine Soot Yourself by Kimchi Chic Beauty and Naomi Smalls. Whew. That aside, I love it. This grew on me like crazy. Like, I don't know how I saw this initially and thought, meh, because it's really special. It's just nothing like any other palette that I've ever seen. The curation is so unique. They do have it separated into Naomi Smalls' world and Kimchi's world. So you get Kimchi and Naomi Smalls, and then all together a very cohesive yet distinct color story. I think when I first saw it, I was like, wow, oranges much? Like, you know, a lot of these shades, especially in pictures, just seemed to me like they were going to be too similar, but they're really not. There are a couple shades, these two, that are very close. They're not the same, but they're so close. However, these two I thought were going to be the same. They're not at all. These are quite a bit different than I thought they would be. And then this one, similar, but different. So that aside, really gorgeous greens. This blue is a really, really lovely blue. So is this one. So is this one. It's special. You can do neutral eyes with it. You can do super vibrant eyes with it. There's just a lot that can be done with this palette. And like I said, I love both Naomi and Kim. They're just two stunning, beautiful people. And that's really it. That's all I kind of have for today. Thanks for understanding that I'm busy, and I hope that there was something in here that sparked joy in you. And just consider this my way of encouraging you to spend your stimulus check on makeup. It was good to see you. I will see you again on Friday. Not going to tell you exactly what the video will be, but I will be doing a tutorial for Friday, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Meanwhile, you just have a beautiful day, and I will see you ever so soon.